Okay, hello, I'm Jim.
And I'm Karen.
And we do slow travel across the globe.
We're going to start today's video talking about how we moved into retirement and then into travel.
When we first started out, the first thing we had to do after our retirement was to figure out where we wanted to go. And our choices were Portugal, Mexico, and kind of an outlier, which was Georgia. I had read a lot about Georgia, but in the end run, the country we chose was Mexico, and a lot of that was from what we heard about costs and also proximity to the United States. It was a very easy trip back to the United States, and distance meant a lot.
Yes. So we went to the consulate. We applied for permanent residency, which we qualified for, and we got our permanent residency visa and our passport book, and we were so excited. And we sold our car and truck. I had a Nissan van, and you had a Chevy, pickup. And we sold that, and we were planning on giving our things away, so that was going to be the last minute. So that we were preparing everything. I'd given my notice and spoke to my owner of the property that I managed and let him know that I was planning on going. He was hiring a management company, and lo and behold, that was around February, March, and come March 2020,
world disaster hit. COVID, the pandemic. We decided rather to put stress on Mexico with just another bunch of people coming in, especially foreigners, we decided we'd stay in the United States until a vaccine was available.
And plus, I wasn't going to leave my property in the lurch during this. I felt like that I could help navigate it through it. There was several reasons why we stayed. There was a lot of reasons to do it. And plus, we didn't know what was happening. Like the rest of the world, we had no idea if and when a vaccine was coming, if or when, this was, always equated to the Black Plague. So
fast forward now a little bit. We had our residency. We had a permanent residency. That expired.
Yeah.
And after that, not too long afterwards, about a year after we got our first residency, the vaccine came. We got the vaccine, and we said, by golly,
we're out of here.
We're out of here again.
We're leaving.
In the meantime, we had bought another car.
Yeah.
And that car we had to sell again.
Yeah.
It had 7,000 miles on it.
We took a hit.
We took a good hit. But we did what we said we were going to do. We went to Mexico first.
Yeah, we went to Mexico. We booked our flight. We went into Mexico City, Coyoacán, and it was also our first dipping our toe into Airbnb.
And this might sound hypocritical doing a YouTube video and saying this, but the problem we had with the Airbnb was the fact that we actually believed YouTube videos about Mexico and saw a lot of videos where they said, you can rent a beautiful place for under $50.
We were looking for a month, and we were looking for that under 500, I think it was. And so and we got exactly what we paid for.
Yep, you get your money's worth. We got a place that was horrific.
It really was.
It was horrific. It was damp. The bed was moist.
Yeah.
We had no TV.
And all this is our fault because we did not know how to really critique Airbnb advertisements, read the reviews, make sure that we didn't even have a list of really amenities that were important to us yet. We didn't know what was important to us. This was our really first time. We were travelers, and I think that we got overconfident, but our traveling was
vacations. You have to read between the lines when you deal with Airbnb.
And you have to read what amenities they had. It didn't list a TV. I hadn't even thought of someone not having a TV. Being from the United States, Not having a TV wasn't even in my mind.
I'm gonna give a quick rundown. The reviews all talked about how wonderful the landlord was, and honestly, they were wonderful.
They were.
Here's what we faced. We had an entryway that we saw an outdoor patio where they were repainting a car. We had a dog who had a bladder problem that had peed everywhere, and the smell of urine would blow your mind.
And it had a daughter that it had crusty eyes.
And
I'm assuming from the urine. So those were the dogs that everyone said that they were so happy to come home to after a day of touring. And I was like, are you kidding? And plus another thing is all the reviews, they were really 2 night stays, 3 night stays. We booked it for a month.
So as a result, what our first foray into Mexico was a disaster that we spent most of our time getting away from that Airbnb and going elsewhere in Mexico on trips. Taxco, we went to Taxco, we went to Mexico City, Cuernavaca. We were all over the place just to get away from the Airbnb.
Just to get away from it. And Taxco, the first time we went to Taxco, this was something. Now remember, I had just retired. I retired from a job where I was in charge, 650 units, 21 employees. I'm used to being bossy and bitchy. So, you know, this is my MO. So now we're in Taxco, which is gorgeous, by the way. Absolutely. Love to go back to visit it again. And Jimmy decides, we go out to eat, and he decides that for breakfast he's going to have...
I went to a mercado.
Shrimp soup.
And the girl tells me with the shrimp soup, I think it's ready. And she goes away, this is 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, it apparently wasn't ready because I got
food poisoning.
Montezuma's revenge, like you wouldn't believe.
So now I'm wandering up and down the streets with a translator trying to find a pharmacy to get him diarrhea medicine and electrolytes. And I just feel so overwhelmed. Just so overwhelmed.
So to say the least, this is our foray into Mexico. Our next stop in Mexico was Oaxaca. And that was okay. It was just busy. It wasn't what we wanted from Mexico, really, truthfully.
No, it was beautiful. I think we had watched a lot of videos, and it looked like a lot of, you know, festivals, which I'm sure it still does have. But we came in during a taxi strike. We had to drag our bags out of the bus station because we had just taken a 9-hour bus ride from Mexico City down there. Got off the bus, couldn't find a taxi. Finally got something to our Airbnb, which was very nice. But here again, wasn't what we were used to. On a very far from El Centro. And then one morning I wake up, I go to put on the computer. We had trouble trying to transfer our phones over. I had a phone number that was tied to all of our accounts because for 18 years I had the same phone number. And I tried to transfer it over to Google. It didn't transfer because they recognized it as a business number. So now I'm scrambling. You're trying to get me on Skype, and I can't get to our money. JP Morgan isn't letting us in, and now I'm literally having a nervous breakdown.
So I'm going to fast forward a little bit now, rather than go through all the details. But needless to say, with all this jazz going on, Karen has gotten to the point where she can't stand Mexico.
I want to go home.
I want to go home.
I don't have a home, but I want to go home.
For some weird reason, she decides, let's fly back home and let's get our permanent residency.
Well, what brought that about was that we had gone up to SLP. Jimmy knew people off the line. They're Mark and Paulette. Big shout out. And I got to San Luis Potosí, and I felt like I met somebody we knew because we had Zoom called them a few times, and Jimmy was always talking about Paulette because they were both retired before me and Mark. And I looked out the window of we stayed in a Hilton, remember? And I saw a 6-lane highway, and I went, okay, this seems a little more familiar.
Yep, and we also had a Walmart down the road.
Yeah.
And a Costco. So we set an appointment to go to the embassy.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker.
Consulate in the United States. Back to Orlando. We were going to fly back to Orlando.
Karen decides that when you have to make an appointment online, but it happens on the first of the month. So what we do is we decide we're going to make the appointment on the first of the month and then go back to Mexico, go back to the United States. So what do? Karen wakes me up.
1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning. You got to set the appointment for the consulate.
And he's looking at me going, I thought you hated Mexico. And I said, no, I just hated some of the experiences we were having. I was hating how I was feeling. I felt very lost, very overwhelmed, very much out of my element. We were going to restaurants that the waiter wouldn't even look me in the eye. They were asking him what I wanted to eat. And I was like, what?
And that, my friends, with Karen, besides not being able to get you money, having a waiter who doesn't even want to look at her, pissed her off to no end.
I'm like, what is this? And so it was just everything. It was just straw on top of straw. So, but once we got to SLP, we did feel a certain comfortableness, a certain familiarity. Mm-hmm. So we flew back to the United States, got our permanent residency visa again, came back and finished the process.
And
we are permanent residents
of Mexico. This time for good because we stayed in Mexico. We stayed in SLP. Again, we had friends, Mark and Paulette, 2 travelers of Mexico. They have their own YouTube channel. And we became friends with them. And
Wayne.
Yeah, and Wayne.
Who was living in the apartment complex that we were going to rent in. So Jimmy had somebody that he could go for walks in the morning, and we had someone in the building that we knew. And so that was comforting. And Jeff and Kathleen, we met them. So we started to meet people, some expats, and then we started to meet some locals.
Some Mexicans who were very nice also.
Yeah.
But in any case, we stayed. We felt comfortable in SLP.
We signed a year lease
Yep.
on an apartment. About 8 months into it, I looked at Jimmy and said,
yeah, let's buy a house. Let's buy an apartment. We did. We bought a condo. And we had the condo as pretty much just a home base for keeping our stuff. And we traveled all through Mexico. And I mean, we traveled all through Mexico.
Yes.
We did a lot of travel.
I was taking Spanish classes. We were feeling more comfortable in Mexico and really got to see some places, gorgeous places that we just taking buses all over.
So, in any case, we're now in San Luis Potosí. We're permanent residents. We own our own condo. And we finally decide we're going to take a trip to Europe again.
Sicily.
5 weeks in Sicily. And we traveled all through Sicily by train, bus, and taxi.
Amazing.
We loved it. I mean, loved it. Came home. We were home.
It felt home. And we said it. We were looking forward to coming home. We were glad we went, but we wanted to go home.
Then, what was it, 2 months later?
About 4.
About 4 months later, we decided to do another European trip. This time we decided on Vienna, Budapest, and Prague. And we went again for 5 weeks, was it?
5, 6 weeks.
5, 6 weeks. And we went to each of these destinations. And, you know, normally when we used to go on vacation, we always looked forward to coming back.
Yes.
This was the first time we had ever had the feeling, you know, I wish it was longer.
I finally said to Jimmy that our original, his original idea of more nomadic lifestyle, more consistent travel, felt comfortable to me. I felt comfortable going to those areas. I felt comfortable packing and unpacking. I felt comfortable with the changes. I felt like I had some terra firma. I think I was far enough at this point. This brought us about 4.5 years out of my retirement. And I felt good enough and strong enough that I said, "Ooh, I think I can embrace this lifestyle."
So, shortly after the trip to Prague, Vienna, and Budapest, I think it was 2 days, 3 days, let's sell the apartment, which we got real estate agent, Beery, and what was his name?
Oh, don't do that to me.
I don't know. Beery was a good real estate agent in Mexico.
Edgar.
And Edgar were very good real estate agents. And they were recommended by another couple.
Yeah, Kiwi.
Ben and Kiwi. And we had them.
Those were other people that we met in SLP. And honestly, they did a fantastic job for us. They, on a very short notice, and you really don't get to sell homes that quick. But we did make a really good deal on it originally. It was a beautiful condominium. The nicest place I think we'd ever lived.
Yep.
And we got it sold.
And we sold it.
Now that brings us to, now you can see the rest of our travels on videos that we have.
Yeah, that's true. Do we have the transatlantic cruise in there too?
Well, yes, because we talked about how we got over here and everything.
So,
but we do want to bring up a couple of things about our experience that brought us to being able to be what I guess is definition nomadic. This is such a personal journey for everybody, I think, that goes through it. I think it's wonderful that you can watch videos on YouTube and see how different people handle different things. But I think what I learned is it's so personal.
it is. And nobody can tell you what to do or how to do it.
Nope.
The easiest way, there's 3 words. Put them together and you've got the right philosophy. You do you.
Yes.
Don't listen to us. What we do is not what you should do.
I wouldn't suggest doing what we did. No. We burned through some cash and just looked like we were all over the board. And the people that knew us, I'm pretty sure, thought we were pretty darn foolish. And maybe so, but it has brought us to it. We're happy. We're happy with every decision we made. Because it isn't falling down, it's getting up. For every mistake we made, we learned something. For every move that we've done, we've gathered more information. We've learned what we don't like, which I think is more important than necessarily what you do like. I know I like ice cream, not sure if I like tripe soup. So you have to try to taste a lot of different.
And I know I don't like shrimp broth. No way.
Please don't make him eat shrimp broth again.
I'm just going to say again, one other thing. We can tell you all the mistakes we made, and you'll see a lot of YouTube videos telling you that. For every mistake we made, I guarantee you there's 15 other mistakes that nobody knows about, or you could make. So don't think that just because you heard our mistakes, you won't make your own. The only way you're going to learn is to make the mistakes.
Yeah, I'm glad, like I said, we've gotten better and better with reading Airbnbs. We can't be more happy with the Airbnbs that we've had through our whole journey here. We really have not been unhappy with any of them. We've learned that. We've learned when to catch a hotel. We still watch a lot of YouTube videos on places and things, but I think you gave the best advice. Do you, because sometimes I think we're slower than most. We're here in Kuala Lumpur for 3 months. I just received a new hip, which I'm very happy with, but but some places we're happier with slower travel. We're excited and anticipatory of when we show up, and we're glad when we leave.
That's it.
And I think that's as long as we feel that way, that's how we judge how long we stay in a place.
And that's exactly what you should feel also. Be happy with what you're doing and how you do it.
Honestly.
Don't worry about what we tell you to do. Don't worry about other YouTubers. Again, you do you.
Now, we're also very blessed that we had some shekels in the bank and we could burn through a couple of mistakes. we also are sensitive to the fact that a lot of people can't afford to make mistakes because mistakes could be the end of everything. But we're lucky, we recovered, we're doing fine, and
Yep.
like I said,
I'm going to just say one thing because I think it's important to say.
You've never said one thing in your whole life.
I know. Well,
Go ahead.
it's more than one thing. It's more than one sentence. Let's put it that way. If you want to do this, a lot of people say, oh, I really want to do this. But what they do is you research it, you research it, you research it. We're going to look at different things. Let's decide. Let's research this. What kind of mistakes can I make? I promise you, no matter how much you're researching it, you're never going to be prepared to do it. You'll research for the rest of your life and never jump in. You have to jump in feet first. And if you're afraid to, well, a lot of people are afraid to
do them, but
the only way you're gonna be able to do this if you're not afraid to do it.
it seems to be learned by
mistake.
Well, not mistakes. I don't consider what we've done as anything was a mistake except the original one, that hot love affair of mine. But I just find it learning experiences, experience, and that it's just, I have a really good saying that I live by. I've never learned anything from a good time. You know what a good time is, and you have it, and you hopefully appreciate it, and you're blessed by it. Where I've learned my life is by experiences and getting scuffed up and knocked around a little bit.
So, in any case, that's our
story. That's how we did it.
Yep, we're going to stick with that story too.
Yeah, or we might make up a new one in 6 months. You never know. But if you have any questions or if you ever want to reach out, Jimmy answers everything. I'm still controlling and bitchy. But
we have, just so you know, in addition to the Facebook, in addition to the YouTube channel, we have a Facebook group. Facebook group is called Slow Travel Around the Globe. You can ask questions there. I answer everybody who posts, even just to say thank you, but I'll always answer your stuff. We've got 350 some odd people
we're
now.
Killing it. Yeah.
We're killing it over there.
Oh, it's amazing.
And everybody who writes on that, I answer.
He's good about answering. So if you do have any questions, we'll try to help. We don't give budgetary advice because we think everybody's budget's their own, whatever you can do. I've always said that we're not budget travelers, but we have a budget. We're not at endless dollars and cents.
No.
So we offset our travels by doing more expensive things, less expensive things, a lot of different stuff. But we're very blessed. We wish you the very best, and we hope. Thanks for hanging in there. If you watch this to the end here again, I have no idea why.
And on the Facebook page, really appreciate if you post pictures of vacations. You don't have to be a slow traveler to post pictures of different
I don't even know
areas.
what that means anymore.
So, in any case, we want to thank you for watching. If you made it this far, more videos are coming. I have ideas for videos that might make the videos a little bit better or more interesting.
Ideas.
Or just as boring. Who knows? That's that New York thing.
That New York thing. Ideas.
In any case, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.